It's Too Many Men on the Mic, presented by Netfront LLC. Now here's Coach Drew and Coach Jared.
Oh my gosh, look at that backdrop. That's fantastic.
Pro. All pro. You know, I think it, you know, the black, it's slimming the black. At least that's what they tell me. I'm coming straight from practice.
The black and the gray.
Coming straight from practice, yeah.
I like it. We're ice level.
Yep.
These are fantastic graphics.
We're like inside the glass. Inside the glass.
And a big episode because
Huge
today
episode.
We're talking with the hockey moms.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. So this brings me back from the beginning. I mean, this is kind of like going home.
That's a great song. Do you know the band?
From the beginning. Do
you know the band?
I want to say it's the Guess Who, but
it's not the Emerson, Lake,
and
Palmer.
Lake and Palmer
Might be worth a Spotify Google there. Can't believe I stumped you.
You did stump.
We played that song too.
I mean, we played it a couple times. We haven't played it, but yes. So this is like coming home because we're going back to, I feel like last April when we were sitting at my house.
Yep.
And we were talking about the idea of starting a youth hockey podcast, which we're now doing. And we brought a group of moms together.
I think I crushed about a basket full of unleavened bread.
Oh, yeah. My wife was at the beginning of Artisan in Order. If you aren't following her, follow her on Artisan in Order on Instagram. She makes fantastic bread making videos. She makes bread literally every single day. Yes. And she did deliver bread for that event. But that was our first foray into hearing what hockey moms were interested in. And here we are about a year later at the end of a hockey season. And it just seems fitting that we're having a discussion with a group of hockey moms reflecting on last year's journeys.
Well, full disclosure, if you've seen the promo for this show, it's passion. You know, some people would call it crazy, but it's passion. And I also have to say that when we're talking to hockey moms who are part of the team that my oldest son played for, so technically I'm married to one of their group, and I just could not be more excited and more. Well, let's just say this episode's probably going to go viral because I think the laughs are going to be coming, fast and furious. And, what we're really hoping to accomplish here is as you go through a hockey journey as a player, obviously as a coach, but really as a family, as your parents, you spend so much time with people who start off as either strangers or acquaintances. And this group of ladies has a great perspective on how to go from being parents of your kids' teammates to really a family. And I'm hoping that we have a lot of laughs tonight. We'll probably have some awkward, funny moments, but I'm hoping that there's a lot that younger families and younger parents can take from this to put in perspective what this is all about. We spend a lot of time together as you go on this hockey journey. And taking the opportunity to get to know the families that you're spending so much time with, it makes the experience better for your players, better for your kids, and that's ultimately first and foremost. But as a parent, it's also just this awesome opportunity to extend that family and really create just a great dynamic for you and your family and your kids. So that's what I'm hopeful.
Let's bring them on.
So Grant, bring them on in. This is the hockey moms here. Let's go. So let's go around the horn here. Kind of introduce yourself, your team. I know all of you, but our listeners and our viewers won't. But let's go around the horn here and start with Amanda.
All right, I'm Amanda Rogers. My son, should we say our son's name?
Yeah.
All right. Well, my son is Dewey Rogers, and he just finished his last year of club hockey on Acton Central States, 18U, and it's been a wild ride. I don't know what else to say. It's
That's a good
sad.
way to put it, Joe.
It's over, but yeah. What were the
Next
other
up, next up.
We have a very short attention span.
That's okay. It might be the Swedish Fish and all the sugar high,
It
right?
definitely is.
Well, Tracy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself since
Okay.
you're.
I am Tracy Brown and very loud. I just saw them look. My son is Colin Brown, which if you are in St. Louis, you will know the history behind that. One thing I still have a younger son who is in Central States as well.
Behind you.
And Colin is behind us. We are in Lounge 72. Yeah, I've been in hockey for probably 10 years. And clearly, even after we lost Colin, I couldn't leave this team. It's that special.
Next up, Beth.
Beth.
Our second time on the show, Beth Hassick.
Time. I'm not going to cry this time, I don't think. Don't hold me
Maybe
to
cry
that.
laughing.
My son is Aiden, and he has played for the Afton Central States the last 3 years. And along with Dewey, this is his final year in youth hockey.
Yeah.
So
She's going to cry.
I don't know. We were trying to count. 11 or 12 years. I don't remember.
It's a lot.
Long
Yeah.
time.
And then last but certainly not least,
My name is Catherine Heitzenreeder, and my son's name is Caden Fulham. He also was on the Afton Central States 18 U team and was his last year to play as well. He's been playing for 12 years, and I still don't think I've accepted the fact that it's over.
yeah. And
None of us
Catherine, for everybody out there, was part of that moms group back in April. Who went through our helped us, launch the podcast. So it's kind of coming full circle. So thank you.
I love it, Catherine. Thank you for joining us about a year later. I remember us being together back in the spring, and here we are again at the end of a hockey season. I cannot wait to hear about all the great stories that you ladies have to bring to the community.
We will keep them PG.
They can be PG-13. We're not on the radio anymore. So, well, let's get started off here. Hockey. Part of the reason why we started this podcast was to try and accentuate the positives of all of that's great about youth hockey. And if you're on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter, sometimes you see a lot of negative and a lot of drama filled and mostly fueled by parents. So, in your experience, and you can share some stories of past teams before you guys got together as a unit here. Is that exaggerated? And what fuels it? What happens that gets these parents so I don't know, crazy is probably not the right word, but
Crazy's the right word.
yeah, let's go with that. You fire away.
I don't, all of us before we were together probably do have experiences and stories of parents just losing it. My personal experience is that I think there's parents that really think their kids are going from local hockey to the NHL from, 8 years old to 10 years old, they're going to get drafted. So they're constantly complaining about how much time their kid gets on the ice. And just by them doing that, I think it makes a competitive situation for a team instead of it making it a family. And that's where this team was different. We didn't have any of that.
I think to your question, Jared, that alcohol is the reason. I mean, right? So many people partake before the games, during the games, and sometimes that alcohol leads your emotions. So it can get you in a difficult situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all about.
It's your child. So I understand wanting your child to have success, but I don't know. It shouldn't be at the expense of somebody else's
Sometimes
child.
you just have to let the coaches coach, let the players play, and you just show up and root them on.
Here's a viral moment for our listeners.
I have a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying our years before Afton were ideal or not dramatic. There wasn't some drama, but I will say, and my husband and I had this exchange with the Afton coaches after the end of the year party, is that we played for Kirkwood for, I don't know, 8, 9 years. And we loved Kirkwood, and we tried to do it when the pod system started. We tried to do that, and to our disappointment, our child was not selected for reasons unbeknownst to us. Let's just say that. And purposely chose to stay at Kirkwood the Bantam major year because we had such a great group of parents and a great group of kids, and all those people chose to stay together the last year before open, whatever they call it, open
district.
I don't know what it is.
Open district.
Open district.
Yeah.
And so when we moved to Acton, Aiden, he desperately wanted to make this team because he didn't want to go to either of the other pods. And I was really nervous. We were happy where we were, and I did not know what to expect. And I can't say enough about the people I've met and the players that Aiden has played with who've become his best friends, and moms have become my best friends by making this leap. So we had, like I said, it wasn't completely without drama because, alcohol, but I would not say it was amongst our parents of our own teams, the parents of our other teams, perhaps. But, we were really like, is this the right move? Like, we were really happy where we were. And I honestly, and I told Bob and Scotty and J Ray, like, this was a case study in things happen for a reason.
Yep.
Because it led me to these people who are, I feel will be my lifelong friends.
So talk about that a little bit. Lifelong friends, and you feel like you were meant to be. You were meant to meet these ladies. So what does your relationship look like now that your kids are done and have been through this journey? Will you get together? Will you get together once a week, once a month, and have an informal forum, or what ideas are being kicked around?
I mean, it's still pretty fresh that our kids are.
We're still in denial.
We're still in denial, and we're
Right, you're still in denial, right?
Yeah, it's senior year. There's a lot going on. There's proms, there's graduations, and excuse me, and all that stuff. But I don't know, like what Beth said, like these people that we met are not just a season of hockey friends. Like, these are lifelong friends that we've just clicked with. Like, when was it? 3 years ago?
We were 4 years.
4?
You and I, 4.
I think some have been 5,
Yeah.
4, 3,
Yeah.
2.
It's like
new this year. So
not this past season, but the season before, my son he chose to go and play for a different team. He played for the AAA Blues for a season, and it was a very tough decision.
Not a big deal.
Huh?
Not a big deal.
Yeah, I know. But it was a very difficult decision for him to make that move. And it was because of the team of players that he was with. It was because of the coaching. And, I was slightly devastated because I wasn't going to be with the same families anymore. But because we were so close, that was it 15U year?
Yeah.
15U year. I still felt like I was part of the family last year when I wasn't even on the team. I'd just show up and they're like, "Oh, here's your spot. You sit right here." I mean, yeah. I mean, I went to, I don't know. I don't know how to explain.
No, we've said it many times over. We don't know what happened or what blessing was bestowed upon us that it brought all these families together, because it truly is unique. I mean, we all have come from different teams. We've all, moved around and stuff like that. But this Afton 08 and 07 this year has just been unbelievable. I mean, there's probably not a day that goes by that I don't talk to one of the moms on the team, from the team. It just a text, anything. I mean, something funny happens, and they're the first people I think of to send a text to.
So
I
let's.
do remember in 15 New Year when our manager sent the spreadsheet, the roster, and it had, I think it was the only year we got full roster with parents' names and phone numbers and home clubs. And I looked at it and I'm like, well, there's everywhere. Like, I mean, there was Chesterfield, there was Merrimack, there was Kirkwood, there was Rockets, there was St. Peter. I don't know if there was St. Peter, but I mean, it was like, I don't think there was one single person from Afton. I'm like, there's not a kid whose home rink is Afton. Yeah. Home club is Afton.
No, there wasn't.
I mean, I was like, wow, and coming from the outside in, I thought most of these kids had been together for a long time, and that was really the first point where I was like, okay, you know, we might know a few people and they might know a few people, but it's not like my kid is coming into a group of 15 other kids that have played together.
It's hard to start something new, especially at that age.
Yeah, no, I love this. So we have listeners from Alaska down to Florida, and if you could give them any tips around coming into a new environment as a team, what would you tell those moms that are out there? Is it be open, or are there any suggestions you have for moms that are coming into a new group that you think would be helpful for them?
Embrace the crazy.
I would say, embrace the crazy. I know a couple years ago, like, we just decided there were a group of new moms, and so some of us that had been on there before, we had a big dinner and we invited all the new moms to it, and we kind of just talked about how close we were and that it was drama free. And I kind of feel like the moms set the tone for the parents and the kids set the tone for the kids. And that's kind of all been led by Coach Bobby. I mean, I think he's the one who makes sure that the boys are all really bonded. Coach is okay with our level of crazy, so he just goes along with it.
He doesn't have a choice.
He doesn't have much of a choice. But I think Catherine can probably, I mean, since this was her first year with us, she can probably describe whether or not we try to be very welcoming, because we know it is hard.
It's intimidating. And like, as a new parent, a new mom, I mean, dad can walk around and be like, oh, hey, Joe, hey, you know, what? Because I feel like dads know each other. They know everybody. But when you're a mom, me personally, I have a guard up because I don't know these people. I don't know. I mean, do they like to hang out in the lobby, or do they go to bed at 6 o'clock? Like, do they bring snacks to games, or, you know, like,
snacks are important.
Like, I have all these questions. But like what Tracy said, the other side of things is, like, it's expected for parents, new parents, to have a guard up and not know who to talk to, what to do with a new team. But it's up to those existing team members and families to make them feel welcome. And that's exactly what we try to do, because we've all been in that position where it's just that awkward, like, I'm the new girl type, you know? Yeah. But again, Catherine, she was new this year, so.
Well, kind of. I mean, Catherine's good. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting dynamic too, because, you know, Catherine still hangs out with the team from last year. So.
I think they hit the nail on the head. Like, I mean, not only were you all very welcoming, but it's more than just, hi, my name is so and so, welcome to the team. It's, you know, my son is so-and-so, they call him whatever, and give you all the details. I'm like, oh, okay. And your son was at my house, and sorry about that.
And, somebody hugged your son. So
edit that.
That's a fantastic story. It's not any of us, but another mom on the team.
Yes.
So we will say, yes. during
I
this
think
time
I
of
think
year is when
I think I might have heard that story. It might have been at a
crazy.
certain person's house in Creve Coeur.
Yeah, exactly.
Last
Because
minute of play
we sit
in
there
this
and talk to
period.
each other who we think is going to fill the slots that, potentially left. And we're just hearing names. None of us know who the kids are and stuff like that. So a mom on our team, I guess her son had invited some people over, and we had heard of Catherine's son, but we didn't know who he was. And within 10 minutes of her meeting her son, we got a text. She said, "Oh my God, I met Pullum. I gave him a hug." And then
Well, we got to take a quick break and pay a few bills. Somebody mentioned earlier about being competitive, and I want to dive into that a little bit and talk about how if you could go back in time and look at your 12U parent self or your 10U parent self, what advice you could give. Because I've been around teams where that there has been finger pointing and there has been riffs. But you guys have such a unique story and really a gift to give other hockey families. We want to dive into that. But we'll be right back here in about 2 or 3 minutes after we pay a few bills and do a quick live read. So stick around and, we'll be right back.
Youth hockey season is open for the 2026-2027 hockey season, and that means BigBearTournaments.com. With new locations in Savannah, Georgia, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Holland, Michigan, Big Bear Tournaments has you covered. If you're a club out there looking for multiple tournaments for your teams, you want to look at wholesale pricing with BigBearTournaments.com. You can have savings back to your teams. One more time. No, not that. The youth hockey tournament season is underway, and that means BigBearTournaments.com. For 2026 and 2027, Big Bear Tournaments has new locations in Savannah, Georgia, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Holland, Michigan. Don't forget to ask for club pricing. This is huge for your teams if you're a youth hockey organization. Multiple teams booking at Big Bear Tournaments means multiple savings for your club's team fees at the team level. That's BigBearTournaments.com, and don't forget to tell them Too Many Men on the Mic sent you. There's a QR code up in the top right-hand corner for our YouTube watchers. Go ahead and click on that to realize savings today. BigBearTournaments.com.
Real quick, folks, before we jump back in, if you're enjoying Too Many Men on the Mic, go ahead, hit like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. It's a quick click for you, but it helps us grow the show and keep bringing you great hockey conversations. You can also follow us on Instagram by scanning the QR code on your top right corner of your screen, and be sure to download, follow, and rate the podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Or go directly to our website, www.tooManyMenOnTheMic.com. That's the number 2. For great additional content, downloadable drills for coaches out there, and access to all of our social media channels. Now, back to the show. And we're back here with the hockey moms, with Tracy, Beth, Catherine, and Amanda. Ladies, we ended our last segment talking about how welcoming and really creating this almost like this welcoming committee for new families that come onto the team. We've all had experiences, mostly Drew and I as the coaches. So we've been a little detached from some of the moms and dads that we've coached, but there's been teams that either we've been a part of or we've heard stories about where you have parents kind of creating a dynamic where I think someone mentioned earlier competitiveness. That they're probably talking to their players in the car ride home, or they're pointing fingers at if things go a certain way or don't go the exact way that everybody wants. How do you break through that? And how do you, because as parents, our first and foremost passion is for our child and their success. How do you give perspective to younger parents, especially who are coming into hockey, and recognize that, hey, this can be a joy for everybody? What are some things that you guys have done or have experienced? I'll shut up and listen.
Well, I will say something that my husband has always said to whoever our coaches are, because usually, you have that first meeting at the beginning of the year, the coach introduces himself, kind of tells how he's going to, run it for the year. And I know I've always heard over and over again, that if you have any issues, give that, 24-hour wait to cooler heads prevail before you approach a coach. My husband and myself, we've always had we're not approaching the coach. Let the coaches coach. End of story. If for whatever reason it doesn't click for us, we just go somewhere else next year. So we just always let it ride the way it's supposed to go. It's not, they don't need to hear our input. They took the job. A lot of times it is a thankless job. So our part as a parent is just to let you do it. And that's what I would tell people to do. Leave the coaches alone.
Let It Ride is a great Bachman Turner Overdrive song. But I love what you just said right there, which is basically it's a 1-year contract. You let the coaches coach. And if it doesn't work out for your family, then you know that you have options. And that's a great way to look at it.
I think too, like as parents, we, as you said, we're focused on our own child, and we don't, the coaches have such a different perspective. They may be looking at for a forward that has a certain skill that might not be my kid, and so he doesn't make the team because of that. Or they may be looking for a certain type of defenseman or whatnot. And we don't have privy to what they're looking for to build their team. I mean, that's why the club has hired them. You have to trust the process. I know that's like another cliche, trust the process. But I think in the end, it works out the way it's supposed to work out. And I said before, my son's story is a case study in things happen for a reason. And, they know what they're looking for. If you have an issue or if you have a question, I think our coaches especially are certainly always open to talking to parents. But I agree with Tracy. We always let our son talk to them directly. If they had an issue, it wasn't our problem. I'm not there on the ice. I'm not hearing what they're hearing. I'm not seeing what they're seeing. I mean, I don't think I ever watched one practice in the last 3 years. So, I mean, they gotta learn to speak for themselves and take responsibility for, their future.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think sometimes there is that competitiveness though within the team where you have players that are, like pitted against each other. Mm-hmm. And like, that's a whole different conversation, right? Like how do you coach your child to maneuver through that and give them the skills to come out on the end?
Amanda, have you been a part of teams where somebody where the parents have kind of been pointing fingers, and I always say to people, you point one finger, there's 3 pointing back at you. That's an ism. There you go.
My thing is, like, I always said, like, however the parent acts is probably going to filter to the player. And if it filters to the player, then your kid is going to, be a product of that kid's behavior. And I don't know, I feel like when parents act insane and do the finger pointing, their kids hear that stuff. I mean, they're talking to their kids about that stuff. And then it puts the ideas in their kids' heads like, oh, well, I don't like how, this is going, and I don't like this player, and I don't like, and it's toxic. Mm-hmm. So I'm always like, if I see a parent acting like that, I shouldn't do this, but I'm already judging the kid because I'm like, oh my God, that kid is probably going to be a little punk or something. But it hasn't always been the case, especially like the past 3-4 years or so. But when you're at that younger level, the parents are insane.
Yeah. A lot of times when there is,
like, it's not that serious.
No, when there's been a kid in the past when the boys were younger and there would be a kid that would be problematic, you'd meet the parents and it would all make sense. Yeah.
Yes.
Apple tree.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, there are parents that are butt heads, but their kids are not, and they're wonderful human beings. And it's like, thank God that you're not like
Yeah. And I don't know if some parents realize, and maybe this shouldn't be the case, but sometimes some parents that are so completely overbearing and trying to, run the show for their kid, they're the reason their kid didn't get a spot because no one wants to deal with that.
100%.
Yeah.
That is absolutely that's kind of an unwritten rule.
Yeah.
Even at the NHL level. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly, God, when you're
no
dealing
one wants to deal with it.
no coach wants that kind of baggage
no.
as for parents.
Right.
I mean, I'm not. What do I?
Well,
what
and
do
I
know?
think
I'm not a
too,
coach,
as a parent of especially a younger kid, be realistic.
Yeah.
None of these kids are going to go play in the NHL. If they were, they would have been identified a long time ago.
Yeah.
Look realistically at your kid's skill level and put them in a position to be successful. It doesn't matter what level of hockey it is, whether it's Central States or AA or C level, B level, C level. Put them in a position where they can be successful and feel good about themselves and their skill level and have fun. I mean, it's really more than anything, have fun, play with kids that are good people and that you like, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's all leading to the same place in the end.
Yeah, we do have a
Beer league.
Yeah, all roads lead to beer league. So let's just have fun.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, being on the backside of 18U now and in this journey with your children, what do you think youth hockey gave your kids that nothing else could have?
Ooh.
Ooh, that's early in the show for such a deep question. Well done. Well played, sir.
I'm just going to lay that out there.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, I would say resilience. I mean, my kid learned, he had rejection and he had success. And, the rejection sometimes outweighs the success. And, it teaches them a lot of things for life, just in life skills, not just hockey.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
I
it
would
was
say the exact same.
It was rejection of not making a particular team, and then is it fair to say then working hard to get to the next opportunity? How did that go?
I think for my son, it was rejection or not making a team, not because of his skill level, but because of politics, perhaps, that we all know exists in every sport. And, that leading to a conscious decision by our family to make the choices I mentioned earlier, and ultimately having fun. And then in the end, proving he was able to make this level of a team and being successful at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the best life lessons, there's a story with Colin that's really burned in my brain, and I think it happened at 16U. I know you were on the team, Beth, you might have been your Blues year, but we were playing against the Sabres, which for the 08s had always been a very strong nemesis. And we were up 2-1. Colin was a defenseman. You'll probably remember this. We were down to the last, maybe 10 seconds, and there was a face-off. And, of course, the puck came to Colin, and he had it in the corner, and he should have just held it. And he didn't. And he shot it away, and immediately a Sabres player got it, boom, scored immediately. So with seconds left, they tied it up. Colin was beside himself because there was nothing more excruciating for him than to feel like he let his teammates down. And we literally had to go home that night and play speeches from professional players who all had a bad day. We had to show him Tom Brady and Tim Tebow with tears streaming down his face because he just felt like he let down his teammates, and that's what he didn't want to do. But it taught him a lesson. You bounce back the next day, and you be better. And so, yeah, resilience is exactly what you have to get. Yeah,
Probably the biggest thing.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think of when we went to nationals. I guess it was the first game. I don't know. We were down. and my son scored, or no, Rudy scored, and then my son scored the tying goal that actually put us into overtime.
Yep.
We went into overtime, and the puck got past him, my son, and the other team scored, and we lost. And that, I cried.
Yeah.
He cried. Everybody, like, we were devastated. However,
The next game.
but the coach put it into perspective and said, he's the reason why we made it into overtime. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I was more heartbroken that he was heartbroken because of a mistake he made that lost the game. But I'm like, I wasn't thinking the positive side of things in the moment. And I'm like, okay, he has a point. So then I told him, I'm like, you're the reason why you guys got to that point anyway. If you wouldn't have scored your goal, the game would have been over a long time ago. But then the next game, he came out and what do you score? Like
Four goals.
four
goals,
4 or 5 goals. I mean, it was just like bam, 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 and we're like, oh, okay, so there he is. But it was a rough night for him after that first game. Like he was just just devastated.
And it was his own pressure. It wasn't the pressure.
No, it wasn't anybody else. But, and this goes to show what kind of team this is. The boys all texted him and they were like, hey, shake it off. It's fine. Like, we're gonna go out and we're gonna win tomorrow. Like, just hearing that, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm thinking, okay, it was left on the ice. Everybody's just moving on, whatever. But they all took it upon themselves to check on him and make sure that he was okay and that, you know, he still did great and yada, yada, yada. Like, but that resilience is probably the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that kind of emotion among these kids, like it really shows how much they care about their own performance and what their coaches feel and their parents and their teammates. Like if any kid would have walked off the ice like, oh well, you know, big deal. Like they shouldn't be here at playing at this level. Like these boys are here and they want to win, and it's not all about winning. It's, you know, it's about sportsmanship and teammates and all that other stuff. But it just shows that they really care about the game and they care about each other and they don't want to disappoint including themselves.
No. I don't believe in the last 4 years being part of this team that I ever heard my son come home after a loss and say that it was someone's fault. This team always knew that from the first puck drop to the end of the game, it is a team effort, not any one play, any one goal decides the game.
But you know why? Because of our coaching staff. Our coaching staff also sets the tone for the season.
Absolutely.
And we have the absolute best.
Well, I think I'll speak as a coach. You're part right. Having parents that model the right type of behavior and camaraderie and passion for their kids makes the coach's job that much easier. And I think somebody said it earlier, you know, sometimes the parents weed the kids out, unfortunately. And I think that, again, full transparency to the listeners at home, I'm a part of this team. And I would just say that it's never easy to coach. It's never easy to parent, but it's a lot easier to coach great kids, and great kids are usually products of great parents. And so I would say to you all that you're as much as responsible for the way those kids treat and act with each other as the coaches. The coaches kind of calibrate everybody together and set the expectation, but those kids behave the way they do because they've got great parents. And so that's where I'll speak for the coaches a little bit, that I know they all agree on that. They've said it as much too. So
I do want to add. Can I add something about our coaches? Just because.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, as you know, Jared, we played against some teams that had some interesting coaches.
Oh yes.
And I feel grateful, beyond grateful for this coaching staff, who I really feel loves all these boys, not past tense but present tense, loves all these boys and wants them all to succeed. And watching other coaches and how they interact with their teammates really made me feel grateful for the last 3 years that our coaching staff treated our boys with respect and as if they were their own kids, and wanted the most successful team, and as individuals and as a group. And I think that is also a difference that this team experienced that maybe some other teams don't always get the opportunity to experience.
Exactly. The end of season party is the perfect example. To have a coach get up there and give a speech about each kid individually and what their uniqueness brought to the team, and then tell each kid that he loved them and gave him a hug. You just don't see that. And it was hard, and he meant it.
For sure.
And it's what keeps this team together.
All right, you can't make the host cry. That's a rule.
Last minute of play in this period.
Yeah, we must be pros at this. One of the things that I wanted to also get your all's feedback on and perspective. I'm sure your kids have played other sports, and I would love to understand if the relationships you have with parents in other sports, we don't have to name names, but how that might be. There's some uniqueness to hockey, and especially the hockey journey that we go on, that kind of creates this crucible of.
That's a big word. That's a big word right there.
Of these relationships that you all have built. And do you have these similar relationships in other sports? I'd love to hear about that. But we're going to take a quick break here, pay another bill. So if you ladies can stick around, we will be right back.
All right, okay.
Well, that segment of 2 Minute Men on the Mic was brought to you by 5B Designs. St. Louis hockey families and business leaders, if you need custom gear that stands out and stands for something, it's time to meet 5B Designs. Founded by Shannon Brahini, a proud St. Louis mom, hockey mom as well, and entrepreneur, 5B Designs is a woman-owned small business that brings purpose to custom apparel. Whether you're suiting up your youth hockey or high school hockey team or leveling up your company's branded swag, 5B delivers top-notch quality with a personal touch. Need team stores? No problem. Corporate polos or event giveaways, they've got you covered. 5B makes it easy with fast turnaround, flexible service, and designs your players or employees will love to wear. Check them out at stores.inksoft.com/5B Designs. That's the word 5. And if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to go ahead and scan that QR code in the top right-hand corner of your screen and see what great gear and great service looks like. Let's get to the fun.
There we go.
We're back with 2 Many Men on the Mic, and we're joined by the hockey moms, Tracy, Beth, Catherine, and Amanda, having some great conversations and perspective. Ladies, thanks again, as always, for joining us, and we're excited to hear some more stories. One of the questions that we left with, and it's clear to Drew and I, and it has to be clear to our listeners at home, just the amount of the depth of the relationships that you have all built with each other, whether it's just this past year or over the last 4 or 5 years. I got to believe your kids have played other sports, whether it's baseball, basketball, soccer, even roller hockey. Have you guys been able to forge similar relationships? And if not, what's made youth hockey so unique? I'll shut up and listen.
We were actually just chatting about it. Dewey played baseball for a long time as well. So we did the travel thing. We got along with the families. They were all great. But hockey was his number one sport, and it was a huge time commitment. And we spent more time with the hockey people than we did our own families most of the time. sports these days, competitive sports, they're all year round. It's not just hockey. Baseball, they practice year round, and all the things. But for some reason, hockey, it's the family togetherness is
A family sport.
it is a family, yeah. And I don't know. It's somebody help me here.
No,
Well, I don't know. Go ahead.
I think it's from sitting in ice rinks when they were little, for all those years until they learned how to drive. And like you're just sitting there and you start talking to people and you're there for hours, or what feels like hours and hours on end. And it's every weekend, and you're always together, like Amanda said. So I think it's just naturally going to happen, evolve into
family.
family.
Well, I also think there's a uniqueness to it. Like, you could probably almost talk to any parent of, just say, a 10-year-old boy, and they probably played soccer, they probably played baseball. That's almost like a universal sport that some kid has played at some point. Hockey isn't that. It's very unique. There aren't as many kids in it. So when you meet another hockey person, just to talk about getting up at 5 a.m. to go into a cold rink, you instantly know what that feels like. So I think the minute you bond with that person, the minute you say you're a hockey mom, they know all the things that go along with it. And it's a very tight family, from playing, just learn to play up to the NHL. I mean, when we lost Colin, we had NHL players reach out to us just because it was hockey.
I was just gonna say, so when Colin was in the hospital, us hockey moms, like, we didn't know what to do to help, but we sprung into action like freaking quick, and it was all a blur. But I was asked to make all these helmet stickers that said 72 strong, 3 strong, whatever. I mean, I was freaking these stickers out from my Cricut in my craft room. My daughter was helping me, and people were
I drove to
reaching.
your house and picked up.
You did, I know. But
Yeah,
you
I
were
did.
the one that drove to my house, and this is what really made me think how special the hockey community actually is, because I usually don't just let anybody just come to my house, throw out my address and say, yeah, come on over, I've got some stuff for you, like, that's creepy. But I literally had hundreds of people messaging me on Facebook, texting me, yada, yada. They're like, I want this many stickers. I want this many stickers. And I'm like, okay, here's my address. Here's my address. I took off work for like 3 straight days and made these stickers. And when I tell you, these people that showed up to my house, they were all hockey people. They knocked on my door and I'm like, okay, here's your stickers. And I'm like, what's your name? And they'd say, what team they were from and what club they were from. And like, I mean, I got to these people complete strangers, and we were like hugging on my front doorstep and crying together. And like, one mom was like, if there's anything we can do to help, like, I know you don't even know me, but I would love to help, send food to the team or something. I'm just like, I mean, it gives me chills still to this day. Like, my daughter witnessed it. Like, it was absolutely remarkable how the community came together for Colin and the family. And it was all hockey people.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
and it wasn't just locally. I mean,
No,
the Six After Colin was across the world.
I was mailing stickers to people all over the country. I mean, I had people messaging me, Venmoing me like crazy. My Venmo was going off like this, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get flagged. I don't know what to do. I mean, just people were like, and it was all hockey people. All hockey people. It's still like that.
Yes, I still get private messages. And this isn't to like name drop or anything, but literally when we were in the hospital, my husband's like, his phone starts ringing, and it was Wayne Gretzky. And he just wanted to put the phone up to Colin's ear. I mean, like, how does that reach him? I mean, that's because that's this community. That's
Yeah,
how tight
and
it
it's
is.
not just at the 18U level. It's
No.
not the 16U or the 15U. It's all levels of hockey. Like, I mean, an NHL player.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, and the tragedy that the Browns went through and that our 16U team went through.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that changed the scope, the perspective of our team and our parent community, and even parents coming in like Catherine and Caden never played with Colin, but I think she felt that that community and the support for Tracy this year. It just carries on.
Yeah.
And that's unique to this. That's unique to this team as far as the closeness of having experienced such a tragedy that nobody wants to experience.
No, but I think it was a moment for all the boys to realize that life is short. This could happen to any of us, and it just made them so unbelievably close. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of them used their hockey experience as part of their college essays, and they all got it.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
So I've got to ask, being on the backside of this and living through this and having such a tight group of people, what advice would you give to a younger hockey parent? So think of you 15 years ago, and you're coming to the ice rink and you're thinking about tying my kids' skates, or if I know how to get my kids dressed. What are the things that matter, and what are the things that don't matter?
I think have fun. I think we lose sight of that we get so caught up in the competitiveness and wanting to win that sometimes you lose that focus, and it goes by so fast. Like you're in the middle of season and then all of a sudden it's over, and it's over forever. And you look back and it's like, wow, where did it go? So I think have fun. Don't sweat the small stuff.
If it won't matter in 5 years, then it's not something to worry about.
No, and you know what?
Write that one down. That's another one.
Right. I mean, Colin started on a C team, when he was 6 or 7 years old. I mean, it's the fact that at 8 or 9, they're putting so much pressure for their kid to be a AA kid, it's just ridiculous. I mean, these kids aren't going to develop until they're, 13, 14, 15. So just enjoy the ride. Just have fun. Watch your kid fall down. Watch him, we had one kid I remember on the team, all the kids would be at one end, he'd be down the other end by himself doing circles. Enjoy it.
If you're more stressed out than your kid is on the ice, then I feel like you probably need to check yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I know we've heard those things, like probably saw them on TikTok or Instagram, like don't rip into your kid on the way home from a game on how they played, and to Catherine's point, and I think I do feel like my son led this charge in our family, is he really wanted to play with his friends. And he drove that. We've talked many times about, do you want to try out for AAA? Would you want to play juniors? And he's like, I want to play with my friends. Now, whether he would have made those teams, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that, his choice was, I want to play with Dewey and Colin and, DJ and Max and Kit. I want to play with these kids that I love. Because it's about competitiveness, balancing out fun. He wanted to play on a competitive enough team, but he also wanted to have fun. And you see that fun on the ice, and you see it off the ice.
Yes.
You see these kids, these lines, when they put together the lines and they score and they connect passes, and it's like they feel each other, and then you see them in the hotel lobby and they're like so happy to be with each other, and it's not a click here and a click there. It's like you see them interacting with everyone on the team, and that's what made this team super special this
Yeah.
year.
You know, I won't say the name, but like I remember there was a player who was struggling to like score a goal for a number of games, you know, and then when he finally did, I mean, just the bench just exploded, and like though, I mean, the parents, like everyone did. It was just fantastic, and Colin said the same thing. He wants to play at the highest level he can, but still have fun. He didn't want to go the too serious of a route, because at the end of the day, you know, you're all you're going to have are the memories of playing this. I mean, they're not going to go into the NHL. I mean, let's be realistic. So it was just, hey, this is what I want to do, and I want to do it with my friends.
The knowledge and wisdom drops right now are kind of off the charts for the hockey moms.
We're not just pretty faces, Jared.
Wow. Well, you know, let's get a little. Let's. If I had my tie on or a collar, I'd unbutton the collar right about now, because I think it's time to ask a few questions about. Let's talk about some funny stories. Let's talk about some things that, and not just this past year, although there are some great stories from this past year, but let's hear some funny stories that we can share that you can either be like, oh my gosh, this other team is crazy, and thank God we're not like that, or I'm crazy.
Oh, the bad words.
Let's hear it, Beth. It's like I see it about to happen. They're already giggling. We're gonna stop. As I'll say it again, we're gonna shove them. Listen.
Okay. Well, I mean, we have so many memories.
We just have so much fun.
We do. We just have fun. I think this was 15U year, and I think we were at Notre Dame, and we play this stupid game in the lobby. It's called Happy Salmon, and we changed it up. It's supposed to be PG-13 hand signals and stuff like that. Well, we made them very adult-like. And we were in Notre Dame, and I'm sure you've seen the I didn't know this was a wrestling move, because I don't know anything about wrestling, but you kind of do the crotch chop. I guess that's what it's called. And so that had become one of our little signature moves in playing Happy Salmon. And we were at Notre Dame, and one mom was on the other side of the rink, and she did it to us. So a couple of moms.
Yeah, we were playing CompuWare.
Yes, CompuWare.
Yeah,
who just did a Michigan on us, and we ended up beating them. But prior to it, so the one mom did the crotch chop to us. We stood up in the stands and did it right back, and the refs were looking. They blew the whistle, got together, and were about to call a bench minor on us because they thought we were doing it to
they just tied. And we're like, oh no, now
The
we're gonna
ref
go
looked up through the glass at us, and he did one of these.
Don't do it again.
No, and we thought,
And we were like,
he's going to
oh
kill
my
us.
God.
We just got him a bench minor.
And we're like, we were doing that to you.
So yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
that was one of our embarrassing moments, but also a lot of fun. And then
We got to hear the Swedish
what
Fish
happened?
story. We have.
And
It happened.
We're not even sure how it happened.
All I know is I wasn't allowed to eat the Swedish fish because I
wasn't either.
No.
I'm not. I don't believe in superstitions. Then I became persona non grata. So let's hear this.
Jared, I think you asked me for some, and I said no. And
It's
then
only my-
after the
it's
game,
like
I
my
gave you the
second
rest of
favorite-
the bag.
it's like my
because
second
I won,
favorite
but I was
game.
like, no, you can't have any.
I think
I
it
got
started
some-
on
I-
our Philly
I-
trip, not nationals, but our trip to Philly. For whatever reason, we were sitting very close to the glass, and we had a bag of Swedish Fish, and we would score, and so we would stick it to the glass, and I think that's how it kind of started. And then it just turned into this crazy superstition where we had to put them on the glass prior to the game, and then all the moms just started doing strange stuff with them. One would rub her cheeks.
Tracy
I would tap. Lauren would huff.
She's freebasing. She's freebasing.
Swedish
Fish.
Fish.
And then the best part of it is, since I'm a realtor, I was showing somebody a house, and their kid happened to play hockey, and we were just kind of talking about silly things that we do as moms, and I started to mention the Swedish Fish, and she's like, "Do you put them on the glass?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, we've seen those in the ring." So yeah, our Swedish Fish have gone gone viral, I guess, at this point.
Afton moms
so-
have been
love
here.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
I used to figure out how many goals I think we would score, and I'd put that money in my pocket.
And she was right.
Most of the
Oh,
time,
I
maybe
like
95% of the
that.
time, I was right. Yeah, I'd be like, okay, 4.
Yep. So it was a
We
thing.
all
It was
had our
fun.
little things.
And how did that work out? Was it accurate?
It
was.
I would say 95% of the time it worked.
But we
Oh, I love
also had to not only have the Swedish Fish, but like we had certain clothes
That we had to wear.
we had a certain
Seating
arrangement, and even like when our families came, like
They
you
couldn't
know,
sit
like
with us.
parents and grandparents of like my parents, you know, other people, they knew that they weren't allowed to sit with us, and they'd be like, "So where are we allowed to sit?" And we're like, "Not here."
Yes. We even had bags that say
And-
you can't sit with us.
Yeah, my sister-in-law
But we're real nice.
for the
Yeah.
state championship game, she's like, "We're gonna come to the game, but we won't talk to you. We won't." I'm like, "It's okay, you can talk, but no, you can't sit with us."
Oh,
But then we also had things like if things were not going well, it's like Catherine would say to me, "You need to stand up," because that was
Yes.
my thing. If things
Yeah.
weren't going well, I'd stand up. So we
I'd-
were kind of bossy and telling
We were very
what to
bossy,
do.
but it was for the kids.
it was for the kids.
Oh,
It was
I remember we lost the
Oh, I know where this is going.
we lost the game against the game before the state championship game.
Yes, yes.
And,
And then
and
it
Amanda's
nailed
like,
one out.
Amanda looks right at me. She's like, "What happened? You're the pro. What the heck happened?" She's just like grilling me about this, and I'm like, "I don't know. Don't worry about it. They'll be back tomorrow."
Yes, we did.
So-
There were some things happening at that game that were out of the norm. People were sitting where they normally don't sit. There were people
Wearing
that showed
the
up
wrong
wearing the
thing.
wrong thing.
Oh yeah, we
So we
all
literally-
identified what we did wrong.
Yes, we
So
sent
we
out a
sent out-
text
we
that
sent
said this
out
is
a-
what you have to do.
We sent a message to the mom group me chat and said, "Okay, get your ish together. This like
You got to wear
come
this.
locked and loaded for the next game. But we need to focus."
Yeah.
Amanda used to say, "Was my right leg crossed over my left leg? Or
Oh,
was
yeah.
my left leg
I
crossed
have-
over my right leg?"
And I
Where
have
was
to
my
have,
phone?
if I don't have my nails done, we lose. So I always have to have my nails, you know, tip top shape.
Well, the
And
show
I-
appreciates you getting your
I have
nails
to
done
wear
for our
gold
successful
jewelry.
show tonight.
Hey, it worked. I
does
mean,
work.
the next game we annihilated them.
And if Tracy wasn't there, she'd text us and say, "You guys need
Oh,
to
I
move."
would. I would. Yeah.
Okay.
There was one time, because obviously with having another son play, I was with that son, and this team was, I don't know where you guys were, in Chicago or something. And I actually got a phone call from a mom saying, "I don't know what to do. We're losing. Do I stay or do I leave?"
Oh, because her son was at a different rate.
Yes. And I'm like, oh boy. And that was against TI, wasn't
I think
it?
you said stay.
I told her to stay. Yeah.
You need to stay till the end of the period. I
Yeah.
think you said.
And then we tied it up.
We know what we're doing, Jared.
I've seen it firsthand, and Kelly is like crazy. She won't believe when she hears this, but I've become a believer because I'm the most
yay!
I'm the most non superstitious, which is weird for a hockey person, but I'm very much. But
After you're not a goalie.
well, no, well that's a whole other. That's a whole.
yeah.
That's a whole other level. That's a whole
It
other
is.
level. So, well, anything more we got?
No, I think these are fantastic stories. I
We do our
love-
pyramids in the lobbies.
I love the bond that you have, and no doubt, I have to believe that this is just going to continue on. And I can't wait to hear what kind of forum it's in, or what kind of ism you put it in. Is it third Thursdays of the month? Is it?
We should all come out to the next Community Men on the Mic gig.
Oh, there you go.
Because we did. I think Catherine was out at a gig with the 07 families.
Yeah.
That's a fun night, and there's usually adult beverages at these gigs.
There is.
So
We're in.
and I'm
We're
sure
all
they'll go
in.
allow for Swedish Fish. Well, ladies, thank you also personally as a parent of a player on this team, and someone who had relationships with some of the kids I've coached some of those kids, but coming into a new team with only a couple folks from last year, I'll attest that the welcoming and the closeness in the relationships that I built with not just you all, but your husbands and the other moms and significant others, is a testament to this group. And there's a reason why you're all together at this stage. And hopefully, folks who are listening who are earlier on their hockey journey. And when I say that, not just as a player, but as a family, because it's a family journey. I mean, it's an expensive sport. It's a time-consuming sport. Mm-hmm. And perspective is everything. It's not an investment, it's an experience. And you all have done such a wonderful job. I can't thank you enough personally. I know Kelly feels the same way, and she's in some of those crazy pictures and videos. So before we go, one last thing from each of you, just talk about the experience and what it means to you, like a heartfelt, one sentence. Let's start with Catherine.
What it means to you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Put Catherine on the spot.
Ooh, wow. It's a new family. It's like we've said earlier, you spend more time with your hockey family than you do your real family. And I'm still processing what it feels like to be on the other side of it. So I don't know. It's a journey, and hopefully a journey that doesn't end here.
Beth?
Um,
I'm just going to call on you. You don't get to.
Well, I will say I am so grateful for the 11, 12 years that we've given to youth hockey. I'm glad it was expensive. There were lots of sacrifices made, not just financially, but time-wise and family-driven. I feel like it has really made an impact on Aiden and our family, and I know it's been a process to grasp that it's over. Yeah, I hope these people will be in my life forever.
Yeah.
And the boys will be in Aiden's life forever, and someday we'll be in the stands watching them play beer league. After they all go on their merry little way and then come back together.
There you go. Tracy, what about you?
I would say yes. These women have become sisters to me. I think I made a joke to somebody today. I can't remember who, that Afton's going to come here one morning and open up the rink, and they're going to find me in my sleeping bag in the stands because I'm just not ready to ever give it up. So yeah, it's hard to let it go.
And Amanda, you were the catalyst to get this episode going. And we're grateful for that. I think her exact words were, "What do I have to do to get on your show?"
There may have been some alcohol involved in that.
I'm like, what about next week? But Amanda, what about you?
I mean, I'll echo what everybody else said. Like, I don't even remember what the original question was.
I'm laughing. Yeah.
What was the original question?
One sentence of what wrap up like what hockey's meant.
Oh yeah, it's not going to be one sentence, but family, and it's not just the people we met that have become our family. It truly is a family sport. It's a commitment that not just us parents have to make, but it's the siblings that make a commitment as well. You should do a sibling podcast next. I'm kidding. Yeah, like I mean, we are still friends with parents from the 6U level. We've been friends since then. And it's bizarre and crazy to me to think that because my little 4-year-old wanted to hop on some skates and he couldn't skate and was practicing and all that stuff, like it's crazy to think where we are now. all these years later, all the friendships that we've made along the way, all the friendships he has made along the way. He's grown as a person. He's made connections that he wouldn't have been able to make doing anything else. And it's weird that it's over. Like they said, I mean, he could drive himself to practice. I didn't have to go to practice. He drove himself pretty much everywhere, right? But now I like get home from work and I'm like, I don't have anything to pack for this weekend, or you know, I'm not washing my mom uniforms. Like, I'm just like, what do I do? You know, it's very weird. It's still very new. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself.
Yeah.
I said I'm gonna have to get a second job, because if I don't get a job, then I have to have to make money. I'm gonna have to get a hobby that's gonna cost me money. So
You guys need to come up with a hockey mom. You need to come up with a hockey mom app that is specific to hockey moms and can, you know, take your experiences and help other hocky moms, you know, and dads, you know,
We
along
will
with
adopt a hockey kid.
oh, I've already said that. I've already
Hey.
said that. I'm gonna have to adopt somebody else's kid.
Yeah.
Or if I'm gonna be that creepy kid mom that shows up at the rink and they'll be like, "Who's that woman?"
well, Drew and I both have freshmen in high school who are still playing.
Well,
so we'll talk off.
Don't be shocked if we show up.
Absolutely not.
With
You're more than welcome.
Swedish and her, yes.
Well, what's the cocktail of choice, by the way? That was the last thing. Cocktail of choice when you're
Mine is
pre-game,
just a.
post-game.
Catherine's drinking nothing.
I just put a
Thank you.
soda in mine tonight. I'm not allowed to drink at games
Oh.
because it's bad luck. It's bad luck.
But the lobby is a different story. I don't know why I would always drink in the hotel lobby a Malibu rum and pineapple juice. You know, I don't know why, because I don't drink that.
Malibu
I
rum and
don't
pineapple.
drink it, but it's January and we're at the Burr Ridge Marriott and I gotta have one.
Burr Ridge Marriott. Burr Ridge Marriott.
We're gonna road trip there sometime.
We
this
are.
year.
We're
Yeah.
gonna have a hockey mom trip to Burr
Oh, the
Ridge.
Burr Ridge.
Pretend
You
like
gotta
we're
make
there
sure you
for
take
that.
Tammy. You gotta make sure you take Tammy Arias with you on that. That's it. Well, on that note, we mentioned Burr Ridge. I think we got to call it a wrap. Thank you, ladies, so much. This has been. I hope you
Thank
guys
you.
have enjoyed this. We can't tell you guys how much we appreciate this, and you know we're
Appreciate
excited.
it.
Thank you.
We're excited to continue the relationship for this family as our kids go away to school and we find that we have nothing else to do but to get together
I
and
know.
drink.
I think you need to come back in 6 months. I think we need to do this twice a year.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Check
Yeah.
it.
8-part series.
8-part series.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, they're all podcast pros. How many of you listen to podcasts like whenever you're, you know, there you go. So,
There it is.
well, ladies, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of the night, rest of the week, and remember, tell all these great hockey family folks to like, subscribe, follow on YouTube. And now that you are YouTube stars on this podcast, they absolutely have a reason to
Yes,
listen.
I'll post it on 72X.
There you go.
Yay.
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks, ladies. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So where's Grant?
Grant, get in here, Grant.
Get in here.
Get in, Grant.
Hello, fellas.
So what I want to know is, have you had a Malibu and pineapple? That's what I want to know.
I don't think I've ever had a Malibu and pineapple. No.
See, I knew that was going to be the answer.
He's probably never had a lot of things, but have you? So Grant's a baseball player
He is.
or
Yeah.
former baseball player.
Yeah.
You know, you played high level baseball. I mean, and you probably weren't paying attention because this was only like a couple years ago that you were still in, high school. But did your families have this type of relationship? Was it this tight knit?
No, not this tight knit. I think baseball, especially, part of the reason I disliked club season at times was because things moved so much. I'd say from about late, like 5th, 6th grade, 12, 13U to like 14U, we were pretty tight knit. And then guys started moving and thought there was bigger and better on the other side for their club teams. And it wasn't the case. They didn't have fun. So I would say that when I got to high school is when I started to not enjoy club season as much because the teams weren't as tight knit. They weren't my buddies anymore playing on the team like they were during high school season.
Yeah.
So I want to know the profile. Give us the profile of Mr. Salzman and Mrs. Salzman. Was your daddy yeller or was he quiet? And tell us a little bit about mom. What was that like?
Well, my dad coached me my whole life. So the only time he wasn't in the stand or wasn't in the dugout was during high school season. And he was quiet then. He, gave some claps, go Grant when I'm up to bat, but that's about it. And same with my mom. No yelling, no pretty laid back, encouraging, but that's about it.
Yeah.
There were some parents though.
Oh,
there were some.
Give us one. All right, you teased it. Give us one. Come on.
Well,
give us a story.
There was one guy that he was a big guy too. A dad, probably like 6'6", just a large man, and he would just like when his kid was pitching, would just stroll across the backstop, either yelling at the kid or yelling at the ump. There was, and it wasn't always encouragement at the kid either. It made him more nervous. It was bad. As he got older, the kid got older, he learned how to lay back a little bit, but it was too much pressure on the kid. And I think in baseball, like in hockey, you have the boards, the skates are loud. Like you can hear everything, but like I'll take from when I played football, like you can't hear anything. Like you can block it out easier. Baseball, you can hear. I mean, the fans are, especially at high school fields, 20 feet away from you. 10, like if they really want to be, they can be right on 10 feet away from you. You can't miss anything.
Yeah, it's you would think that about hockey, and when you're on the ice playing, you're right. You can't hear from the stands.
Yes.
But you have in fact, we at a game we were coaching very recently at a rink here locally in town, there were little kids, I think they were 10 or 12U, and I walk in and the first thing I see is a dad strolling down to the boards while the kids are in line. He knocks on the board and he gives his kid some advice as if he was on the ice coaching with him. And I just wanted to say to him, hey, there's a big sign above this door that said coaches and players only down here. Yeah. So it happens. And I've been around, I've coached a kid whose dad was giving him like signs from the stands while he was on the bench.
Oh yeah. You see the kids on the ice that'll look up at the stands, and it's heartbreaking.
And it's like, and especially when it's like this parent has no hockey experience whatsoever. It's like, what are you trying to tell this kid? But I will say this. It does feel, and you have your own experiences as well, but the experiences I've had is we've been very lucky to get on, over the last 4 or 5 years with my older son's teams, just these teams that have just coalesced as a family and have kept it in perspective. And some of that could be they've gone through kind of the crazy, and they've gone through they have the battle scars from, tough teams when they were younger. And I think we heard that tonight. It's this perspective. And, it's an expensive sport. And I think some parents look at this as an investment, very similar to like, hey, I'm investing in this stock. And it's not an investment; it's an experience.
Yeah, but I would also add that I love the make it fun, and these parents figured out a way to make it fun in their own way, putting Swedish Fish on the glass, having the right number of Swedish Fish in their pockets for the goals to score. I mean, these are great stories. This is what makes youth sports, and in this case, youth hockey, great. And Turner Overdrive, Grant, you got to listen to it. Let it ride.
And then you ain't seen nothing yet.
And you ain't seen
nothing. All right, those are the two. And one more thing I kind of want to ask you guys before we get out of here. They kind of were talking about with and I thought of this when you guys were asking me. They kind of talked about with their coach of their club team, how they their peers, their friends, that type of thing. I'm sure the coach goes and has a drink with them and talks in the lobby after, and from my experience, the most unruly parents ever got at a coach during my playing 15 years of sports was high school football, varsity football, because the parents aren't peers at that point. They're, that coach is getting paid to coach. I'm not saying they're quite on the level of a college coach. It's still, they're not making a lot of money, but still, they're not the peer, where I feel like in club sports, parents don't really throw abuse out loud at the coach. Who knows what's being said behind closed doors? Have you guys, since you guys have coached high school and club, have you noticed that at all? Like that parents aren't going to really say anything too negative, like from the stands about you, but maybe in high school they'll throw a little jab here or there just because it's a little different?
What's amazing to me is the spectrum. You have parents that will address you head on, which I prefer. You have others that will do it behind closed doors, or you'll hear it secondhand. So I would say it's a smattering. I don't know that I've ever been paid as a youth hockey coach ever. I've always just felt like it's kind of paying it forward. Yeah. Hockey's been great to me, and I'm happy to pass it on to the next great generation of people. So I'm probably not a good person to ask for that one.
Well, I've been a paid coach, but I would also say that I think I agree with your take on the spectrum piece. I think that there is a level of some passive aggressiveness that will kind of formulate in terms of some second guessing. It's really difficult as a coach, I think, to detach and say, okay, this parent is just looking out for their kid's best interest. Yeah. So you try to tell yourself that. But I would say that for the most part, we try to set a tone at the beginning of the season where we have a parent meeting and we say, hey, look, I'm happy to talk to parents. I don't want to talk to agents. And that's really where you have to, and especially as the kids get older, when they can, in hockey specifically, when they can get themselves dressed and when they should be able to, do their own things on. Yeah, you heard it. I know. I did. I said it. I talked to parents, not agents. He's waiting. Because that, parents can advocate and they can say, hey, this is what's going on with Johnny or Susie today. And that's important for us to know as coaches, because that impacts how we communicate. But when they start saying like, well, hey, when I get a long missive from a parent saying how little Jimmy wants to be on the power play, or little Susie feels that she could be doing more, it's like, really? Because you just wrote this email to me.
Grant, I would also say if you could put it in song, it's gonna land a lot better with both of us.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes. All right. I'll think of song to put it in, and I'll find it to use for the analogy.
There you go.
Fantastic.
Well, we're coming to the end of the first round of the playoffs here, and somebody was trolling the Edmonton Oilers pretty hardcore, and they pulled out a W. So they're down 3-2. Still could be put out. So what's going to happen there in that series, Grant? Come on.
Well, I'm not trolling them. I want them to win. I want them to make the Stanley Cup.
No, that is absolute troll when you say.
No, it's not.
I want them so that they lose in the final.
Yes, that is correct. But that's the definition. I'm cheering for them as of now. As we sit right here, Penguins, Philly, tied at 0, almost at the end of overtime.
I know.
So
that's Sidney Crosby's a tough out, man.
And I'm just going to say, the longer that series goes on, one of two things is going to happen. Either Philadelphia is going to feel like, now we know how to play playoff hockey, or Philadelphia is going to say, we're about to just put the puck in the net and make this a one-game playoff.
Yeah.
Well,
so this is going to be interesting to see how this one turns out.
I view these game sixes very similarly. I think that if Philly loses this game, Penguins win game 7. I think if Edmonton beats Anaheim in game 6, Edmonton wins Game 7, and I think if Boston beats Buffalo in Game 6, Boston wins Game 7. Like I think
I don't
that
know about that one.
Ooh.
That's tough one, man.
I just think that
one.
I think
Someone's
for
gonna throw
all
a
these,
chicken wing at you.
Absolutely.
I just think for all these Game 6s, like you said, Drew, don't let them extend, because then you're going to give the other team more hope. Like look at Boston. They after they score, they're up on the boards. They're yelling at the fans. Like I don't see them losing home at TD Garden, and now they know they can beat Buffalo at Buffalo. Like I don't know. It's there's some interesting series.
Montreal just won tonight. And we're recording on Wednesday, so when you hear this, Montreal just won 3-2 tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. They go back to the Bell Center for Game 6. The Minnesota-Dallas series. I mean, Dallas had it in their they had it in their grasp. They can't score 5-on-5. I don't think I think Anaheim's closing it out tomorrow. I believe they are. I think they are.
They're
I think
fun team to watch.
Was it a goal?
I think Edmonton had their big breakout game in Game 5 to try and to stave off elimination. But I think there's too much injuries going on with Edmonton, and I think Anaheim. I think they close it out tomorrow.
Tell me, was that a goal for the Ducks?
So yes, it was. I mean, if you look at where that puck was and the whistle wasn't blown. Now, where I think the mistake was made was it wasn't called a goal on the ice. So they overturned the call on the ice, and without making the call on the ice the correct way. But I do think it was the right call. I just think the way they got to it, if that makes any sense, was wrong.
There has to be a way that we don't need to have these questions. Like there should be automated as soon as, like, I don't know, like I know with the NFL now, they have the cameras and the technology to show exactly where the ball went. With soccer, the ref gets a buzz on his wrist as soon as the ball crosses the net. Like or crosses the line. There has to be a way to have goal line technology, whether if there's cameras on the nets, cameras all around, like there's got to be a way to, in 2026, to not have a question mark.
We used to have sensors in the puck and, the Fox puck. Remember the Fox puck, the glow puck? This is before Grant's time. They tried to play with a sensor in the puck a few years ago, and the players complained that it felt different on their stick, which I believe. Yeah. But we used to have, back in the day, we used to have goal judges in the NHL. There was a guy that sat behind the net in the little green and red light, and the green light would come on if that guy thought the goal was in. He was an official that was not on the ice, essentially. And we got rid of that. I remember goal judges, as do you.
I do too. I remember them. I'm old enough.
Okay, good. See,
he's older than you thought.
All I know is Grant is bringing a lot of hockey insight to this that I am very
impressed with. Next we're getting you on skates, buddy.
Absolutely. I think the way to go with hockey is cameras. That's what the NFL does. You put enough cameras everywhere to and they're super special cameras. They're not just broadcast cameras. They're like cameras with sensors that can almost draw the lines for you where it is and where the puck is. I think that's the way to go.
I love the human error and the debate that we can rage on about.
True.
Not having a dog in the fight, the Brett Hull goal against Buffalo, I love that stuff. I love being able to, because it brings back memories and it helps bond us. But
Don Temperature.
There you go. Well, I think that's a wrap for tonight. What a great episode.
Fantastic. We had moms, we had stories. We're going to have them back on, I have no doubt. We had Grant isms along the way, and we had a little bit of Bachman Turner over
and Emerson Lake and Palmer.
And Emerson Lake and Palmer. So I'm going to claim victory on that.
Yes, absolutely. Shootsy scores. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next week.